And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, welcome to the Dice Tower. Today we're going to look at Shift, a single card collectible card game. Essentially, the draw of this game is, hey, I have a card, you have a card, fight! So you fight with one card. Well, that sounds interesting, but I was very wary of this. I mean, how much game can you get into one card? Here's where we're going to find out. To play this game, you and your opponent will each need one of the different cards that's included. So this is the draw of the game, is that you have one card and your opponent has one card. That's actually not true because you need 5 tokens that have a heads and tails side. So we're going to use these coins. These don't come with the game. These are mine. And you also need a coin that you're going to flip. Now, flipping a coin multiple times during the course of the game is one of the most annoying mechanisms in the world. So we're going to use this die I have that has 3 yeses and 3 nos. And we'll say yeses are heads and nos are tails. So I pick my character. I put these here. He's not injured yet. But as he is injured, I'll move the tokens over to this side. Once I move them over to this side, they become spirit tokens. And you can burn spirit, use spirit. And you will do that by turning them over. So the more hit points you take, the more spirit you have, which lets you do different things. Now on your turn, you can shift or attack, or you can shift and attack if you burn a spirit. To shift, you simply are going to move to one of the 2 upgraded sides, or if you're on those sides, you'll move to your final side. Now let's take a closer look at the card itself. Each side that you're on, this shows you what shift gear it is, it's 1. This shows your attack power, that shows your defense, and this shows 2 special abilities that you have. Right here, you'll see that there is a special ability. So for example, Akira's attack decoration is after his activation phase. So he can activate and attack. So anyhow, when he makes his attack, he can decide who he's attacking. So let's say he's attacking this penguin, and the penguin has a defense of, let's say it's in its normal mode, hasn't shifted yet. So has a defense of 400. So when he attacks, he can say, I'm going to use alpha or beta. Now alpha will add 600 to my attack and 300 for my defense on my next turn. Or beta gives me 100 but 400 on defense. Well, I don't want any defense, I want to attack. So I'm going to do alpha. But I need to roll a heads. And I did. So yes, so 900 against the penguin's 400. So that will cause a damage to the penguin. Now, if the penguin was in a higher gear, first of all, he wouldn't have had to worry. But let's say I did 1,300 to the penguin of damage. Then the penguin could actively guard or use spirit guard. Active guard says he can add 1 that's lower than his. So he could add 1,000 plus 400 to get 1,400. If the penguin does that, he has to downshift all the way back to the normal level. The spirit guard, you can add anything. So he could add the top one, but you have to spend a spirit token to do that and go down to the bottom level. So if I attack and I hit him, he takes a point of damage. And then many of the special abilities, like this beta one here, if you get exactly what the combination here is, so I needed a tails to get this, it gives a special bonus here. And in this one, it lets you shift for free. So if I had hit him, or at least roll the tails, whether I hit him or not, I'd be able to shift for free at the end of my turn. Now looking at these special abilities, you'll notice that the alpha has a heads and a tails, and the beta has a heads and a tails. The alpha has an attack plus 700. So let's say I roll for that, and I got a tails, then I roll again, and I got a heads. I roll the dice twice because I'm supposed to flip the coin twice, and I got heads and tails. So yeah, I get 700. But because I rolled them out of order, I did tails then heads, I don't get the special ability at the end there, which was basically skip my opponent's next turn. That would have been great. So you have to look at these different special abilities. Here, for example, I could remove 1 damage and refresh all my spirit. And sometimes some of the special abilities allow you to use spirit. For example, here, I can get rid of one of my opponents. Spirit. And then I have to flip over spirit for each gear that my opponent's in. So if he's in gear 3, I would then get plus 3,000 attack. So you can see it's very powerful, and this will continue until one person has taken 5 damage, and then that player is out of the game, and the other person wins. First of all, I'm not too pleased with the fact that they advertise it as a single card game, but you definitely need tokens, so why not provide those? In fact, they didn't even provide the rules. You got to go online to download the rules. So that's kind of annoying. Then, graphic design-wise, these tokens for the special abilities are really tiny, and you're constantly like, what do these tokens mean? And they did that so they could jam a lot of information on one card. Okay, so let's say that stuff's all fine and everything. Let's take a look at the game itself. It's boring. It just is. Adding the hundreds is that old Yu-Gi-Oh! Pokemon trick, which means nothing to me. I mean, it makes the game look more exciting. Oh, 500 to 300. Yeah, that's 5 to 3. I just don't see how that's that big of a deal. But that's semantical. But the biggest deal is it's just not that interesting. Yes, I know the defenders of this game will show up and they'll say, but each card is very different. Yes, they're all very different. But when it comes down to it, it's just kind of lucky. It's not like there's a lot of strategy on your turn. I'm going to turn or I'm going to attack. If I attack, I can try to add more attack or I can add more defense. I don't know. What am I going to do? It doesn't really matter because the flipping of the coin is all that matters. Why, spirit attack, and do that to use my spirit. Okay, so there's a few minor choices in the game, but I have played this game. And for those of you who say, hey, you just played it one time. No, I played this many times with many of the different characters, and I found that they are very different characters, and they're all differently boring. I just need a little bit more meat in the game, okay? I think I'm getting concerned about design in general, and people are trying, oh, look how small I can make the game. Stop, okay? Let's make some game. What would have been wrong with... Okay, I don't know. It's just not for me. The idea of shifting and attacking and the shifting and attacking isn't often that even interesting because like, ooh, I'm going to hit you no matter what I do. All right. I have no surprises to pull out of my pocket. They can see everything on your card. They can see everything. And that's the thing about this game. There's no tension. There's no surprise. It's just like, okay, I'll do this. Okay, you'll do this. So... I can play kind of the same aspect of this by playing rock, paper, scissors, or by flipping a coin and seeing who wins. This game will have its fans for sure. There's going to be a lot of people who like it, but I am not one of them. It's an interesting concept. I had hoped that it would be fun, but it's just kind of eh.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door!
There.